Well, I never thought I'd be dating again in my 40s. And to be honest, it's not even finding someone to go on a date with that's hard. It's navigating this whole process after have already building a life once. Heck, I already did this dating thing 20 years ago after choosing a partner, standing at the altar, and planning a future that didn't turn out as expected. The hardest part for me wasn't wanting a new relationship, it was trusting myself to choose wisely again. And having grown accustomed to my freedom and confidently raising 3 kids on my own, I found myself second guessing my own instinct. I started to wonder if it was worth the risk of facing this pain again. Was I truly ready to commit without repeating the past? And what I've learned is that dating in this season requires a different order, something that's much slower, more intentional, and rooted in something deeper than chemistry, momentum, or fear of being alone. And in this video, I'm going to share 6 Christ-centered principles that I'm following this time. Not to force an outcome, but to put God back in the driver's seat instead of pressure or urgency or loneliness. And if you're starting fresh like me or dating in your 40s and want to do this in a way that honors God and protects your future, this will be the most important dating advice you ever hear. And I promise I'm not turning into a dating coach, but I feel like this content is relevant for what's going on in my life and might be able to serve you. And if you want to dive deeper into becoming a man that a woman can trust because you trust yourself, it starts with your standards and your habits. And I want to give you a free gift. Don't leave this video without clicking the link in the description. That's going to introduce you to the 6 daily disciplines to being a man that women can trust because you trust yourself. All right, let's get into it. Starting with principle number 1, don't pray to get her, pray for her. Now, you might think that praying for a relationship means asking God for clarity on whether this one is the one. But honestly, I stopped doing that completely. When I found myself single again and ready to date, there was a rush of anticipation. Let's be honest. You meet someone, you feel that spark, and suddenly you're praying, hey God, maybe this is the next Mrs. Del Monte, who knows? And you're asking, like, show me a sign, please let this work out. It feels spiritual, but underneath this excitement is often fear. And fear of being single forever, fear of rushing in, fear of making the same mistakes. And you end up more excited about the companionship than the actual companion. You're attached without truly knowing them. And it becomes exhausting, becomes practically expensive. And you start second guessing yourself. Am I really trusting God, or am I just trying to control this situation to avoid loneliness? So everything shifted when I changed my approach to prayer. And instead of asking God to make the relationship happen, I started praying for her. God, lead her to the right man, even if it's not me. And lead me to the right woman, even if it's not her. That simple shift exposed my true motives and helped me realize that I needed to trust God's timing and God's best. Proverbs 19:14 says, a prudent wife is from the Lord. And that reminded me that finding the right person is about obedience, not pressure. And in that obedience, I found peace and keep saying this prayer. Principle number 2 is relate before you date. This is so good. It's tempting to jump straight into asking for a date, right? This is what we do. Once you feel a connection, right, just ask her out. But this leads to disaster. And before I was married, I remember the rush of adrenaline when you spotted someone promising and you're like, oh, wow, I'm gonna go ask her out. Your mind races with thoughts like, maybe this is the one. But often you get so caught up in the excitement that you skip the crucial step of getting to know her. My dad has a great quote. He marries people and he says, it's easy to leave your spouse, but it's almost impossible to leave your best friend. Isn't that good? And I realized I wasn't even figuring out if I liked her. Do we have anything in common? And a good filter to consider this is, if you weren't attracted to them physically, would you even be friends? This made me question whether I truly respected her or was simply blinded by her beauty. I was putting pressure on both of us without truly understanding her or exploring our shared interests. Instead of rushing in, I'll spend time in similar environments, go on group outings, have honest conversations, and engage in fun activities together. It's about familiarity and getting to know their character before making romantic moves. And this approach will save time and heartache, ensuring our values align before we get emotionally invested. And the more you can relate, the clearer it becomes that discernment is far more valuable than mere chemistry. Now, moving forward, I'll focus on relating before dating. Now, if you want to become a man that women can trust because you trust yourself, a man of patience, a man of discipline, a man of consistency, a man of emotional regulation, don't leave this video without checking the first link in the description. I got a little gift for you. Principle 3, pursue with clarity, not intensity. You might think that the best way to show interest is to go all in, but that can often backfire. I used to think that being intense was a sign of passion. I plan these cool, elaborate dates and come on strong, thinking that that would impress her. It was mostly about trying to impress myself, I think. But the truth, to a grounded and self-respecting woman, it'll often shock her nervous system and scare her away because you don't give the relationship proper time. So I felt like I was on this constant roller coaster, 1 minute elated, the next minute anxious, and each time I faced rejection, it felt like a punch to the gut. Was I coming on too strong? Was it just another guy overwhelming her in a sea of pressure? And the real change happened when I learned to pursue with curiosity instead of intensity. I started expressing my feelings with statements like, hey, I've enjoyed getting to know you. I love to take you out, but no pressure, right? This calm and clear approach felt like a breath of fresh air, I think, for both parties. And I reminded myself of a belief that I do hold dear. God doesn't give you second best. So if you think that I'm a good catch and this doesn't work out, just imagine what the next guy's going to be like. And holding that space, having that energy, really creates a standard that ultimately protects both your hearts, and you won't lose yourself in any responses that are related to like hesitation or rejection or disinterest. Instead, you can just step away and you can respect your feelings and maintain your own identity regardless of the outcome of the relationship. And that's what strength and masculine leadership looks like in dating. There is a healthy detachment to the outcome. And all I'm really trying to do is be present. Be fully present. Is there something truly here? Are we trying to force something? Are we trying to manufacture something? And you can only do that if you're fully engaged in the now. Principle 4 is don't confuse wait on God with doing nothing. We often hear just wait on God in Christian circles, right? But that can easily turn into a trap of inaction. Personally, I never struggled with waiting. I'm a pretty decisive guy. My real challenge has been the fear of going through the pain of rejection again, which makes waiting appealing. I see a lot of men sit around convincing themselves that God's just going to magically drop the right partner into their life if they just wait long enough. And many men fall into this trap, thinking that by waiting, they're being patient. But in reality, that waiting is stagnation and lost time. It becomes a way to avoid the risk of putting yourself out there again. And deep down, it's hiding behind a spiritual excuse. So the breakthrough came when I realized that waiting doesn't mean doing nothing. It means being active in my faith, in my life, and start taking some small steps. Try out some different churches, go to different community Bible studies, build friendships, focus on personal growth, get to know people, start conversations, right? It's about trusting God while also taking initiative. And Psalms 27:14 says, wait for the Lord, be strong, and let your heart take courage. Courage, that's the balance. Waiting with intentionality and strength. Principle number 5, get visible in the right places. If you want to meet a godly woman, you can't expect to find her while you're sitting on the couch, watching church online, right? It's tempting to stay in your comfort zone, right? Work, gym, home. God will somehow just plop this woman right into your lap. But guess what? It doesn't work that way. This will always feel like shouting into a void, waiting for something to happen while your life stays stagnant. And this results in staying surrounded by familiar faces, which leads to more isolation and frustration. And the shift happened when I recently got here to Tennessee, and I made an effort to be in environments where I could meet like-minded women. I went to Christian socials. I tried different churches and I hosted gatherings. And suddenly I wasn't just waiting for a divine appointment. I was actively creating opportunities. And when I focused on building a life that put me around the kind of woman I wanted to meet, connections started to form naturally. It was about being visible and just engaging with my community without expectations or intentions, but just positioning myself for a positive outcome. Principle 6, seek first the kingdom. Now, you might think that pursuing a relationship should be your highest priority, but that's a dangerous mindset. So about a year after my separation, when I got my own place, I was on my own. I was lonely and it was boring. And I started going on dates for maybe a sense of connection, validation, ego boost. There was kind of like a form of, this dopamine, something that represented, hey, you're not a loser. Things are going to be okay. And what happened is I just ended up wasting a lot of time. I ended up wasting a lot of money, and it was a major distraction for my business. And I see a lot of men measuring their worth based on whether they are dating someone. It's exhausting. It leaves you feeling more lost than ever. And this happened to me to a degree. And I think I overlooked red flags and ignored what truly mattered just because I didn't like being alone and I didn't want to sit in this pain. So this time, I've decided to seek first the kingdom of God. And I'm not perfect, but I am focused on being an amazing dad, staying connected to the Lord, and pursuing my purpose and my calling, and staying in great shape and reestablishing life in this new country. And this shift has really stabilized my identity and got me from not believing that I need a woman to complete me, which is a huge turnoff for most women anyways. I will only pursue someone who is completely aligned with my values and with somebody who's running the same race as me. I don't want to be with somebody just for validation. And I believe that when you seek God first, everything else will fall into place on his perfect timing. So hey, listen, if you're dating in your 40s, I want you to hear this. You're not late. You're not damaged goods. You're not starting over. You're starting fresh. You're not out of options. You're in a season where maturity can produce a relationship built on ease and peace. So start in the right order, and let's recap what we learned today. Number 1, pray for her. 2, relate before you date. 3, pursue with curiosity. 4, don't confuse waiting on God with doing nothing. 5, get visible in the right places. And above all, number 6, seek first his kingdom. What was most helpful for you in this video today? I'd love to know in the comments below. What did I miss? What would you have added? Let me know what you thought of this video today. And if you're looking to build a life of stability off of habits, off of standards, and you benefit from accountability, and you want to learn our 6 daily disciplines that will help you become the unbreakable man that God can trust with everything. You want to unlock the secrets to success and significance in your life, check out the link below in the description. It's a brand new free mini course that you can opt in for. It's 100% free, just a little gift from me to you. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video. And until next time, level up or level off. Ciao, ciao.